I appreciate you too, man. Make sure you guys hang with those guys in the morning. They do a good job. Yeah, shit, I don't know. So wait a minute. Philly.500 set the table. He called Mark Holmes a bitch right out of the gate. I mean, what kind of fireworks are gonna hit here? Mark Holmes is a bitch like that right out of the gate. I want to know what the tip is. We're not even near September 4th yet. And we got bitch comments being thrown back and forth. We've got Mark Holmes talking shit on Jalen Hurts. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. So without further ado, by the way, whether it's Derek Brooks, Mr. DeBartolo, I don't give a shit who I get on. The guys who get the greatest response are Philly.500 and Mark Holmes, even over Ice Cube and people we've had on. It's incredible. Without further ado, we bring in the legendary Dallas Cowboy super, and when I say super content creator, Mark Holmes. And without any kind of introduction needed.
You see this right here?
Yeah.
Read between the lines, man. Read between the lines.
Without further ado, all we call him by is Champ 500.
Tell a guy to wash his fingers. You see this?
Man, I was out in the yard, look, making a flower garden.
Put on gloves.
Doing something productive here.
I said
the last 58 days till we get the bitch slap you guys.
You're a little bitch. When I saw that video,
hold on.
You posted
little is not part of it. I resent that you said I'm little. Okay.
Well, you are on a diet, right? You said you.
I am on a diet. I'm giving you a long way to go from little.
Hey, I'm giving you something. You
giving me something?
Yeah.
I might need some penicillin.
Philly, why is he a bitch? Philly, why is he a bitch?
Video he posted today. I can't. You just can't make this up. It was 29 minutes ago. Micah Parsons gets trashed while Jalen Hurts gets a pat on the back. Of course, Jalen Hurts gets pat on the back.
No.
He's Super Bowl
Did you
MVP.
actually watch the video, chump?
He's always crying. I already know how it goes. I watched like 30 seconds. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to shut off. I know where you're gonna go. Oh, the Cowboys always getting trashed, and we're always getting.
I got a real question.
Jalen Hurts MVP. Let's face it.
No, he didn't. Okay, he didn't league MVP. But hold on.
I
want to know one thing though. As I'm sitting here looking at the two of you guys, there is a resemblance. Are you two related? Is either one of our son?
Our ancestors come from the same
listening to
Italian. So maybe
our ancestors
like brothers.
Our ancestors come from the same sunny peninsula. What do you want?
Well, listening to Xander, who's clearly the brains of the operation here, and how computer challenged you are.
That's a shot at you.
No, Philly. Come on.
Oh, I know. I'm
don't act like you call me up and say, "Hey, how you do?" Blah blah blah. When you got the Mevo cameras,
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's true.
And that's Dan. The apple don't fall far from the tree.
So where are you going here, there, cowboy guy?
We live in the real
world.
Just
asking. Do you know his mama?
Oh, I may. He may know my mama. I mean, listen, when you're a
now we're attacking mamas here. Is that what we're doing?
I'm just saying that.
Oh, okay, we can go there.
Hey, guess what? We're Italian. I don't know. We could be related.
She might have been at a Diddy party with Dan. For all we know.
Okay,
I'm gonna smack this guy's face.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Trump, you got a problem with that?
What?
Where are we going here?
Pass the cannolis.
Okay.
What I'm saying.
There you go. No, grab the cannolis. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Leave the gun. Grab the cannolis.
See, Mark's trying to go low. He's trying to go after mama.
Look, come on. Let's be real here. This is the lull before the storm. There is not shit going on.
I'm not going after nobody's mom. I don't do that.
You know what he's doing, right?
Yeah, I know
he's making sure you go off the base because There's nothing really to talk about with the fucking Cowboys right now.
No, we could talk about their great running game they got.
With the Eagles right now, until they get to training camp, unless somebody does some stupid shit like Kayvon Turpin.
We could talk about the Eagles. I mean, they're getting ready for their rings. July 18th.
I do have one thing to ask you. So there was a debate on social media, and I want to ask you first, Mark. If you had to pick a quarterback between Eli Manning and Jalen Hurts, who would you pick?
I'd pick Jalen Hurts
over Eli.
Yeah,
Why?
Eli had two great playoff runs, but other than that, he was pretty much average. And
having 4 playoffs, he's got 2 Super Bowl victories.
Yeah, he does, but he also had an incredible defense too that helped. Okay,
didn't he go to Dallas on the road?
He played great in those 2 playoff runs.
He threw for 60,000 yards. Hurts
but if you play long enough, you're going to get those yards. But if you look at totality of his career,
I bring this up though is because you just said it. He's a product of the environment around him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, aren't they the same?
It is, but I would, for me, I would take having the dual threat. Eli Manning ain't running past anybody. That's one of the things that actually, as much as I trash Jalen Hurts, and the reason the video that I put in was a person actually said, "Congratulations to Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, and like 5 quarterbacks." He said that could have won the Super Bowl if they were on the team that Jalen Hurts was last year.
Well, see, the problem,
he is a cog in the system, but he is not the whole system.
Here, let me ask Philly this question. You think because Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, he's better than Josh Allen and he's better than Joe Burrow?
Because he won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Not necessarily because he won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think there are a few guys that I'm willing to take in a debate with Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott is not one of them. I often think
of course
well, he stinks. I mean, he doesn't win anything in any situation. Do I think? Here's how I look at it.
Do you think Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl if he's on the Cowboys? Real question.
A couple years ago, yes. When you had that team and you were the number 1 seed and you choked. When you were the number 2 seed and you choked. Yeah, I think he wins. Because I think Jalen Hurts wins more games than Dak Prescott. But I think Josh Allen, I think Joe Burrow, I think they probably could win on the Eagles roster if they were the starting quarterback. But the thing with Jalen Hurts is he's been to the Super Bowl twice. So he went with a different coaching staff, right? Different offensive coordinators. He went with different players. I mean, they didn't have Saquon Barkley. They had Miles Sanders. And he came one drive to being a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. So to me, he's already gone there twice. How many quarterbacks in this league besides Mahomes have been to 2 Super Bowls?
Now, let me put this out here, though. Your 2 Super Bowl teams both had top 5 scoring defenses.
See, I don't think because you went to 2 Super Bowls means you're a better football player than somebody else when you just add a guy and look at a guy and go, is that guy better than that dude? That's like saying Trent Dilfer's better than Dan Marino because but Super Bowl. That's not the case.
No, it's not the case. But you can't discount that a lot of these quarterbacks in the league still have teams that are good enough to win, and they don't win in the playoffs when the time comes. And this goes back to history. You bring Eli Manning into it. Okay, let's talk about Eli. Eli Manning, you know why Eli Manning deserves the credit he gets? He won 2 Super Bowls where he had to go on the road and win in the playoffs. One of those places, I believe, was in Dallas. He had to go to Green Bay. So, you can't dismiss when guys go out there and win. So I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all, but in today's ratings, the way we look at quarterbacks, it's discounted to the nth degree.
How about this?
Let me just ask this as a real question. Does John Elway win 2 Super Bowls without Terrell Davis?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so. No.
He was the caboose.
There you go.
He was the caboose on those teams.
Yeah.
And when he had to carry the teams, he was 0-3.
But he went to Super Bowls. He was there in the game playing.
He did.
He gave them
He did, but he didn't win until he had that, 2008 yard season.
You could say that for every quarterback, right? I mean, Joe Montana. Does Joe Montana win if he doesn't have Jerry Rice and Roger Craig? I don't know.
Well, the first Super Bowl.
So in other words, you're saying that people around a quarterback make a difference?
He did.
It does,
but he won the first Super Bowl without
of course, it matters what you have around you. However, that's not an excuse for a guy like Dak Prescott, who has had teams that were good enough to win. That's not going to.
I will argue that the Dallas Cowboys actually overperformed for what they did throughout the 5 years that Mike McCarthy was the coach. The two biggest moves they did was getting Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. Everything else was addition by subtraction. Zeke Elliott went downhill. You got rid of Amari Cooper and figured Noah Brown or Jalen Tolbert's going to be just as good. You can't honestly look at a Tyron Smith who averaged 8 games a season for the last 5 years.
Let me throw this.
That's the same team.
Wait a second.
In comparison to what the Eagles have.
Let's keep it simple. When you're the number 2 seed, and you're playing at home a playoff game, are you supposed to win that game?
Yes, you are.
Well, then what happened?
Well,
what happened? That team was top heavy and was beat down by the time the playoffs.
They lost as a 1 seed. They lost as a 2 seed. They might even lost as a 3 seed. They stink.
Mark, let me ask you this about Dak here, okay? So do you think that the Cowboys have let Dak down by not putting quality coaches around him? And that's been one of the major issues, not just the talent stuff that we talk about. The Cowboys have not done a bad job when it comes to drafting and getting guys in there. They've not done a bad job. Have they done a bad job at putting a good enough coaches? Because look at what Philly did. Philly fucked up in 2023 by bad coaching. What did they do? They adjusted immediately. They dumped those guys. They brought in Vic Fangio. They brought in a coach that was going to be compatible with the style of play they were looking at, and it worked, and they win the Super Bowl, and they move forward. And they continue to add great talent on top of that. I do think the Cowboys they failed miserably by not adding quality players around. But don't you think it's been coming – Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, that really is going to win with those guys?
Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Excuse me.
Go ahead,
we heard
son.
that the reason why Dak couldn't win the playoffs was Kellen Moore, and that he was going to come to the Eagles and destroy the Eagles. What did Kellen Moore do with the Eagles? Wait
a second.
So,
he didn't have the same. Okay.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. Hey, I'm going to disagree with Philly.500 on this. Name me one thing that Kellen Moore brought to the Eagle offense last year that changed the look of the Eagle offense. He didn't do shit.
I don't know. I thought the Super Bowl was pretty good.
Hold on. I'll tell you this. The reason you guys got to that Super Bowl was because of the addition of Saquon Barkley.
Right. Well, then why couldn't Dallas win one playoff game with Kellen Moore? Why couldn't they get to an NFC Championship game? But we were told that Kellen Moore was. If we sat here a year ago and he was saying Kellen Moore was the reason Dak choked, and you wait and see what he does with Jalen Hurts. We can't ignore that. That's what was said on here. We've debated it. Well, Kellen Moore won a Super Bowl.
Okay. Let me go back to a question that happened before I got on here. When Sills, you were asked, what team is better than the Eagles? What team is better than the Eagles?
I can't think of one.
Talent-wise. I mean, it hurts me to say that, but
roster-wise. I think Baltimore's in the conversation.
Playoff Lamar.
Okay. Again,
chokes.
I think Baltimore's in the Are you suggesting you think Jalen's a better player than Lamar?
If I have to win a game in the fourth quarter of a playoffs, I'd rather have Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson.
I actually thought he was a better player.
Overall, I mean, in the regular season, no, Lamar's going to put up the statistics. But if we talk about and what's the most important thing? It isn't the statistics. It's who has the ball with 2 minutes left in the playoff game, down 4. I take Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson.
I think that Rams team's pretty good. The Rams.
Where do you put the Cowboys in that equation?
Here's my problem with your team, Mark.
probably saying, brought my
I just don't know in the O-line if you've got enough talent that's going to come forward this year and going to be good enough to stop. Now, again, everyone's sitting there trying to tell me that Philadelphia's got a great defensive line. I don't see that. Those two edge rushers, I don't know who the fuck they are. We'll see if they're going to pan out. Jordan Davis is underachieved, okay? He played at 37% of the snaps a year ago. Carter's a beast, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have a lot of faith in Jalix Hunt, okay? But again, how good are you going to be in that opener against that front, that coordinator? That's a pretty tough ask for me to sit there and think that you're going to move the ball against that unit, especially Zach Bond. I think that you're going to have a tough one in there. I'm not saying you're not going to, okay? Because, again, I don't believe in Keely Ringo. They got 5 different starters on defense, 5 first-time starters. And everyone in Philly is under the assumption that all 5 of those guys are just going to be superstars because of Vic. Well, I don't believe that. They're not going to do that 2 years. If they had brought every person back, they would have had a tough time being the number 1 ranked defense. So with that being said, I think Dallas will move the ball, but I just don't think you have enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if they get a lead on you, and they get a lead on you early, I think that's going to be a long afternoon.
Well, Sills, you know what I think it is? I mean, I think there's some talented teams out there. I mean, I think you got to look at the Rams. I think they're improved. I think if the Lions are healthy, I think they're competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are teams out there, but I think to me, what's the most interesting really is if you look at the way the NFL is built and how defenses have been built over the last so many years, they're built to stop the pass, not stop the run.
Right.
I don't think there are many teams that can stop the run. And it may take a few years to make that adjustment. Teams will adjust to it, but it's going to take some time. And I think the Eagles, the ability to run the ball is what's going to hurt a lot of these teams that are good. Like the Rams. The Rams, they couldn't stop the run. Barkley had 4+ 50-yard runs in 2 games against them. If they can't stop the run, you can't beat the Eagles. And I think that's the advantage.
Couple questions here for you guys. Mark, do you think Mozzie Smith can be saved, and will we see a turnaround year this year?
Well, Dan, that interior defensive tackles actually take a couple of years before they really get into gear. Usually it's year 3 or 4 when they really have started to figure it out, and they really are in their peak between about 4 and 6 and 7 years, and you see him playing well down the stretch. He's been putting in the work. Now, can he end up being where he was drafted? I don't know. I still look at it and say I'm worried about my interior defensive line, again, stopping the strength of the Eagles, which is the running game. If the Cowboys defense is playing with the lead, I think that they're going to play great because they have a lot of guys that are light in the ass, that are really quick, that can rush the passer. But, when you have Solomon Thomas, who's about 290, you've got Osa Ndigazua, who's about like 290. He's very quick. He's not real big. You only have Mozzie and Jay Tola as 2 guys that are really over 300 pounds. So
you think it's more finesse? It's a more finesse defense?
Without a doubt, it's going to be. It's going to be really getting upfield and trying to disrupt things. But, we'll see what they come out with.
This is for you, Philly. What will a successful season with Jordan Davis look like to you? What does he have to do? He played 37% of the snaps a year ago.
Just keep doing what you did in the playoffs, my man. Just keep doing what you did in the playoffs, because Jordan Davis showed up big time in that NFC Championship game, in that Super Bowl. And I think if he can carry that into the season, I think he'll be fine. I don't think he's ever going to be an 8, 9, 10 sack guy. But if he goes out and gets me 4 sacks on the season, stops the run, is on the field first and second down, maybe even some third downs, that would be bonus. But I think Jordan Davis being that run stopper, improve a little bit in that, in that passing game and be well conditioned, I think he'll be fine.
Wait, do you have a problem with the coach calling him out when asked why he wasn't in shape at the beginning of the season?
No, I don't, because the coach also said that late in the season, he started to get in shape. In December, he was in really good shape. Going into the playoffs, he was in good shape. I think it showed on the field, Sills.
It did. Final 5 games. The reason he didn't get an extension, though, and they picked up the option was because they're telling him, "It's a big year for you, kid." I mean, I think they like, and I don't think they don't like him, or they wouldn't have given him the 12-9.
I agree.
I don't think they don't like him, but I mean, he's not lived. Do you think he's lived up to the 13th pick in the draft?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I think
Listen, I'm not saying he's a bust.
No, I don't think he's a bust either. I don't think he's lived up from it, but not because of talent. Like there's certain things where I've seen him do on the field that I'm like, wow, this guy's extremely talented. But I think it took him a while to realize how important it was to be conditioned and be able to play with the snaps. And I think, maybe he's matured late in that regard. But for whatever reason, he looks like he's in tremendous shape now.
Mark, for you, do you believe that you have a 4,000-yard passer and 2 1,000-yard receivers in Dallas this year?
Yes, I do. But if we're talking 4,000 plus, then we're not running the ball as much as I would like. I would rather see Dak's numbers down some and being balanced, where we're using up the whole field. It's going to be hard, though, because having Pickens and having CD, your first instinct is going to be, I want to throw the rock. But we'll see what ends up.
That run game for Dallas is what you got to worry about.
Yeah. So we don't know if I can actually look at this and say, if I think back to when the Cowboys signed Darren McFadden averaged 3.3 yards a carry for the last 3 years he was with the Raiders. He got to the Cowboys. For whatever reason, he ran 4.6, had over 1,000 yards, and didn't even start until week 4. Maybe we get lucky and have a situation like that if Miles Sanders makes the roster, or maybe Blue ends up coming out the box and is real good. It's all going to be a matter of how is the offensive line going to play.
I'll make this point to you about Jalen Hurts, what you just said. Jalen Hurts throws for 4,500 yards this year. The Eagles are 9-8. If Jalen Hurts throws for 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, okay, if they do that, that means Barkley went for 1,700 yards again. AJ did something back there. Hurts went more. I get this. I don't believe your guy's going more than 1,500 yards. No back in NFL history's ever done.
I know. No. That's why it's time. It's time.
So you think the guy's going to put 800 carries?
I'm thinking he's getting another 2,000 yards.
I'm
calling it
now.
Put down
the crack pipe, man. If he does, if he somehow does, that'll be just retire him then. He won't have anything left.
It's gonna be the first time in history it ever happened. It's got to happen sometime.
If they give him 33 carries at the beginning of the season, he won't finish the year. He just won't. No back in NFL.
I know.
He won't finish the year.
Doesn't make sense. But I just got it.
So you're saying
a weird feeling. I got a weird feeling.
486 carries a year ago, counting the playoffs.
That's a lot.
Just say he goes 420. Okay? You're talking 900 carries in 2 years. 1,000 carries almost in 2 years. You think that's not going to take a toll on a guy?
I know it does.
That's a history of knee injuries.
I'm not saying it's not going to take a toll. I think it is, but I'm telling you, I just got this weird feeling. I'm not saying it's logical. I'm not saying it makes sense.
Right.
I just got this weird feeling. I just got this weird feeling that he's going for 2,000 yards, and I'm going to bet it, and I'm going to bet it big time.
All right, I got a couple more for you guys here. Sidney Brown. Do you agree if he does not win the starting job, that pick will turn out to be a bust of a pick because you got Makuba, you drafted him. Now, again, it's a funny dynamic, Philly. You get Reed's contract. By the way, I do not believe they're going to give Reed Blankenship a contract before the start of the season. That may be wrong, but I do not believe it. I think they're going to do him the same way they did Zach. Couple weeks before free agency, they may, depending on how he plays. But don't you find it odd? Okay, so you draft a third rounder and a second rounder. You got a UDFA who maybe is going to make $10 to $12 million. That's what the annual number is for a safety. Are you really going to pay Reed Blankenship $12 million? You see that guy as a Derwin James? I surely don't.
Do I see him as Derwin James? No. but I think he's a pretty good safety.
That's what the number is, though. It's still
I
an
think-
James type number.
I think he's turned out to be a solid safety. And I actually think getting rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson actually opens up the ability for you to go out and sign him to an extension if you want to, because you're now putting most likely a rookie on the other side. So I think that I actually think he's going to get a contract extension. I'm not saying
Before the season?
I don't know about before the season. I can't say that, but I think he's going to get one sometime during the season. I do.
Okay, Mark, this is for you. Why is the Philadelphia Eagle fans, to you, obnoxious? What makes them the most obnoxious fan base to you? And I'm going to ask vice versa on Philly. What makes the Philadelphia Eagles the most obnoxious fan base in American sports?
You know, when you listen to the Eagles, you won the Super Bowl. You guys are the bomb. Okay, you are the big cahoons. But yet, you're still a bunch of needy, whiny little bitches that are looking for everybody else to bow down to you, mother humpers. You know, I can sit here and be on my channel just, talking about Cowboys, and I get all of these damn Eagle fans in here that just, and it's like, listen, why don't you go play with some of your own people, okay? This is the Cowboys over here. I'm not living over here on Philly.500's channel, bloviating about stupid shit. I only come on here because it was an Eagle fan that came in and said, Dan Sileo is trashing you. And I was like, who the hell is Dan Sileo? I've never heard of Dan Sileo. And why is he talking about me? And we realized that we're two old guys on front porches yelling at everybody to get the F off our lawn. That's why I'm here. Old people got to stick together.
Hey, all right, so I'll ask you this. Why do you believe the Dallas Cowboys are the most obnoxious fan base?
Do you have about 3 hours?
Sports.
Do we have about 3 hours?
Oh, Lord.
Well, I mean, look, first of all, when you deal with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Everything Mark said, like, oh, get over it, Eagle fans. You won a championship. Here's a team that's still talking about their 90 championships, right? From the 90s. They still talk about it, but we can't talk about winning just this past year. But we got to hear them talk about their 5 rings that are all dusty and corroded. They haven't won anything in years. They think the NFL revolves around them. They think that they should get credit because they're Dallas Cowboys. And you have no right. Now, Mark sits there and goes, oh, my, I'm just doing Dallas stuff. I ain't doing anything. Every other video, he trashes the Eagles in whatever video he does. And then he wonders why Eagle fans come in and respond. It's just like
you want the truth.
Just posted.
Do you want the truth, man? Do you want the truth?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
The reality is the Cowboys move the needle for everybody. Let's be real. Let's be real.
You see?
Listen,
I'm
happy because at least people watch, okay? It's a train wreck that everybody wants to watch.
Mark, you do have to admit, it's only been 6 months. I mean, get over it. They won the fucking Super Bowl 6 months ago. We're not talking about 16 years ago.
Well, hang out on your own channels and do your circle jerks together.
When that banner gets raised,
hear it.
When that banner gets raised and they kick that ball off Thursday night,
Lordy.
No more discussion about being champions.
Well, since you guys are, there's no team better than you. So are we expecting you guys to go 17-0, blow through the playoffs, and be Super Bowl champions with your 2,000 back-to-back yard running back? Is that what you basically are telling us?
So you wanting me to guarantee an undefeated season?
No, are you going back to back? Are you going back to back?
Yeah, I think we're. I if we stay healthy, I feel like we got a great chance to go back and win the whole thing.
And Saquon's going to get 2,000 yards.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a logical take, but I feel
walk it back now. Walk it back.
No, I'm not walking it back. I'm just telling you that's just a gut feeling that I have. I'm not saying that I know for sure because look, nobody's ever done it, but I got a feeling he's in a window right now for the next 2 years that is going to be very special.
Well,
this, Mark.
Yeah,
Mark, do you believe the Cowboys are better than the Commanders?
I think the Commanders are actually headed for a little bit of a fall. Their defense is suspect. You know, they lost a lot. I mean, we got their best pass rusher back in Dante Fowler. And I'm not saying that Dante Fowler is great, but losing Allen on that defensive things, they've got some holes in that defense. And now, you know, the book is out on Daniels. You know, you're going to have the rookie slump, and you don't have the cupcake schedule that you had the year before.
All right, I get it. Here's how we're going to end it. Philly, in the opener, are you going to give Mark Holmes any points? Or is this going to be straight up? Is this going to be straight up? And Mark, how many points do you want?
I want 7 points like Vegas has got.
7 points. Are you giving him 7 points?
No, I'm giving him a beating. We're going to give him a beating. That's it. No points. We don't deal with points. We're dealing with wins and losses. We've got to give that team a beating.
Are you scared? Are you saying it's going to be close? Are you saying you're scared?
What's the score? What's the score? Not
so
to
early.
put it in cement right now, but what are you feeling here? What kind of score are you feeling on September 4th?
I think
is this a video coming? Is this a video 500?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
What are you feeling right now on a score on the 4th of September?
I think 34-17. I think it's close for the first half, and then Barkley blows it open in the second half, running the ball all over Dallas, and the Eagles run away with it. It's going to be too much. It's just going to be too much.
I can see Mark working it already, writing it down. 34-17, Mark. 34-17. How you feeling about September 4th? How are you feeling about it?
Here's the reality of it, okay? The Cowboys, new coach, basically half a new team, shouldn't be – what he said should be true. Eagles, it's your banner raising. It's the Dallas Cowboys, your rival. You should blow us the hell out. It should not be close. It should be a laugher.
You know what I'm doing right now, Mark? I'm trying to give you a pair of balls. Give me a fucking score that's going to put me in the room.
But
27-24 Dallas.
But nobody knows what the Cowboys are going to do with having 2 wide receivers. And your defense with 5 new starters could get lit up. And with the Cowboys wanting to play the role of the spoiler, you might see it the other way.
Mark, if you win,
I'm going to say the reverse of what Philly said. 31-17 Cowboys.
Whoa!
What would be better? What would be better than to blow the Super Bowl champions
I got
out?
the title of the video, 31-17. Dope Cowboy fans.
Go ahead. Hey. Why not?
You guys are absolutely sensational, man. And hey, Mark, do me a favor. Don't ever fucking come on this program again and say there's nothing going on, because you know why? We fucking make everything what's going on. I am Mr. What's Going On. All right? That's what this is here. Nobody takes days off around this bitch. That's what this is here, homeboy.
He just told us to get the fuck off his lawn.
Hey, listen, I love you guys, man. I can't thank you
man.
enough. Philly,
I appreciate
by the way, one thing before you go, Mark. You see that shirt he's wearing? So after that James Gunn guy started telling me that Superman was a fucking immigrant, I'm not looking at it now. Now I'm not going to it.
Well, as soon as I saw the trailer and the dog flying in the air, I said, "I'm out, dude."
Yeah,
I'm not
like it's like Super Stevie flying in the air with a cape. I'm not in.
Christopher Reeve's still the best Superman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely was.
Cool. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. You
Peace
guys are
out.
awesome.
Bye.
Make sure you check out their fabulous channels, too. Yeah, I saw a dog flying in the air on the Superman thing, and I said, I'm out. Unless my dog's flying with a cape. Holy crap, my dog this morning. My old lady takes off, and she goes and works out with her kid, and she leaves the dog behind. I've got a show that I'm doing in Tampa, and they thought Tim Kirchin from ESPN was like he had a dog in his room. Thank God. Little Stevie's taking he's taking shots across the bow too. Yeah. Most people watch them boys. Hey, so I heard 31-17. That's Philly. No, 34-17. Philly.500. Yeah, Superman and Superdog. That I don't know. Then he said that the guy's an immigrant because he came from another planet. I was like, bro, why? Superman's America, man. He's American. And these guys got him turning into like he's an illegal alien. Come on, man. I was like, okay, I'm out. And then, like I said, the trailer with the dog in the air. Yeah, he came from planet Krypton. There you go. And Jarrell was his old man. Nicely done, Yale. I'm a big Superman guy. I love Superman. I used to collect comic books when I was. Hey, man. Secretary Noam's coming for Superman. She might like him, though. How you doing? Right? He's from Krypton. I know where he's from. I've seen them all. The Birds are the standard now. How could they be the standard when the guys in Kansas City have been to 3 straight games that are the standard? Mag is upset. They praise a pedo, so they have to deflect and focus on Superman. Whatever. Hey, scoreboard, dude. Hey, just like Eagle fan, scoreboard. Let's see. They're saying true to comics with the dog. Hey, listen, I know there was a dog in there. Okay? Dude, are you really still talking about this guy? I could give a shit about that guy. Okay, I could care. Yale. Look at Yale going down in the gutter. You of all people. Holy cow, Yale. Yeah, head in the sand. Hey, they could have used you in November, guy. Said Dak Prescott was a better pass. Okay, Dak Prescott is a better passer than Jalen Hurts. He's not a better quarterback. Bro, it's a fact. He is. Hey, I live there. I live here. I got it. Okay. Okay, right? I like the first Superman. I don't know so much about the other ones. Actors actually. Oh, is he really? The dude's from Philly? He kind of looks like Christopher Reeves. He does. Kelly, he's not a better pass rusher. He's a better pass. Wait a minute. He's a better passer. Yes, he is. No, Baker Mayfield's a better passer than Jalen Hurts. Stop. That doesn't make him a better quarterback. Again, you go down a lane you don't need to go.